Welcome patrons! If you're unaware, the Dragon Age series has a lot of supplemental material associated with it. Books, lore collections, browser games, web series, a movie I guess, and comics. Yesterday the latest miniseries comic, Knight Errant, came to an end and I wanted to go over it, because I know not everyone has time or money to go and read these, and some people just don't really like comics. So enough intro, let's talk about Knight Errant. The plot. For the most part, I don't want to go into deep detail here, mostly because a quick review gets the point across just as well as the comics. So with that in mind, Issue 1. This is Sir Errant Hawthorne. Sir Errant is from Ferelden, who fought in both the War of Independence from Orlais and in Ostagar. He now travels Thedas, telling glorious and wild stories of his adventures. But this isn't about him. This is about his squire, Vea. As the comic goes on, we learn that she is a thief, and while traveling around with Sir Errant, has been taking jobs and helping other elves and alienages with their earnings. Anyway, Vea and Sir Errant go to Kirkwall and are guests of Varric. Vea eventually slips into the Hanged Man and meets a Templar there. We learn that the gallows are now largely abandoned, except for a rotation of guards that help keep it abandoned. This Templar had a key to a lockbox that holds a lot of coin, and he wants Vea to go and get that box. She goes and grabs the box without any trouble, finds the Templar, steals his key, and ends up giving the box of gold to an elven family in the Kirkwall alienage. At the end, Vea is approached by Charter, who says that she has a mission from the Inquisition. Issue 2. The next comic starts out with Vea's backstory. Vea grew up in an alienage, her parents dying in a short-lived rebellion against the shitty lord that ruled the city. While she lived in the alienage alone, she was visited frequently by her uncle, who had run off to live with the Dalish. While her uncle offers to take her with him, she wants to stay behind, mostly because she's a very gifted thief, and she wouldn't be able to do that in the Dalish clan. Vea's uncle teaches her that although she steals only from the Shems, humans are not all bad. We jump to when she's a lot older, and we find that the Lord has cut down the Venedal, aka the tree in the middle of the alienage, because the people dared to ask for better protection than a wooden wall. Vea stands on the stump and demands that they stand up for themselves. What looks to be an elder of the community tells her that they just can't do that, so she suggests that they contact her uncle to send for another tree. Eventually, her uncle comes to the alienage, but reports to her that the sapling that they had brought was taken by the Lord and his men, and so she decides to go and steal it back. She does end up getting the sapling, but finds the alienage on fire. Here's where she meets Sir Errant, who is in the middle of the fight trying to keep war from breaking out between the elves and the humans. Meanwhile, Vea finds her uncle dead. Sir Errant manages to make a deal with the human lord that the elves can have their tree as well as a better wall. Sir Errant, who had saw what had happened to her uncle, later offers to make her his squire, so that she can travel the world. She agrees, and this is how the duo come to be. Jump back to the present. Vea is still talking to Charter. We learn that Tessa and Marius from Magekiller were sent to Starkhaven to steal some notes, but were captured by Sebastian. The Inquisition can't exactly go and ask for their spies back, so they want Vea to go in and free them. Vea goes back to find Sir Errant completely wasted, and while trying to wake him, is attacked by the Templar she stole from. She is able to subdue him, and she finds Sir Errant awake, relieved that he seemed to have missed the fight, keeping her secret thieving ways away from her knight. Issue 3. Sir Errant and Vea are on their way to Starkhaven with Varric. We learn that Varric is still associated with the Inquisition, and he hopes Vea will join as well. Arriving at Starkhaven, we find that Sir Errant has been invited to Prince Sebastian's birthday party. We are also introduced to this fatso. Let's remember him. And with that, Vea is off to save Tessa and Marius, and she finds them and manages to get them out of Starkhaven with the help of a small elven boy. But before they go, the two manage to convince Vea to complete their mission, to find a journal of notes on red lyrium. Jump to Sebastian's sick party. Sir Errant and Fatso, named Cedric, begin to fight, and Cedric brings up the rumor that things seem to go missing when he comes to town, pointing fingers at Vea. Varric has to go in between them to help stop the fight. We go back to Vea, who climbs back into Starkhaven Castle, off to find the mysterious journal. Issue 4. This issue opens up with more of Sir Errant's backstory. He was only a child when Ferelden was occupied by Orlais, yet he fought anyway. Over the ages, Sir Errant has fought for peace, trying to keep war from breaking out and succeeding many times. He fought for King Merrick and for King Caelin, at Ostagar, with Arl Eamon at the Landsmeet, and with the hero Ferelden at the Battle of Denerim. He now travels Thedas as King Alistair's unofficial ambassador. The fight between Cedric and Errant is still going on, getting to the point where Sebastian's advisor has to stop them. Cedric leaves, and Sir Errant is approached by the Seneschal asking where Vea is. Jumping to Vea, she discovers a bunch of dead guards. Someone else is here, and it's the Venatori. We learn that Cedric is the one behind this attack. Despite them looking for her, Vea is able to evade the Venatori, even going so far as to hide in a pile of dead bodies. She eventually finds her way to Sebastian's personal quarter, asks the question we all had in our minds, and finds the journal, but is discovered by the Seneschal. He questions her, but before she's able to answer, is knocked out by Sir Aaron. Issue 5. Opening up the last issue, we learn that Sir Aaron knew about her stealing the whole time, and approved due to the ethics behind it, that her stealing always helped those in need. Although he's surprised at this current theft, to which she explains that she has been hired by the Inquisition, and he's excited that she has seemed to join a cause. Cedric then joins them, revealing that he is working with the Venatori, mentioning that he is working for an unknown magister. Sir Aaron defends Vea, telling her to escape and get a new life, and that he will take the blame for what has happened here. Cedric chases after Vea in the journal, and she manages to subdue him. We jump back to Sir Aaron, who has taken down the Venatori. Sebastian Seneschal wakes up and confronts him about the theft. Sir Aaron surrenders to him, saying that the whole thing was his idea and that he is at fault. The Seneschal then begs Sir Aaron to reconsider that stance, as it could easily start a war between Ferelden and Starkhaven. At this point, Vea comes back, saying that she has subdued Cedric. She spins the story that Sir Aaron was suspicious of Cedric, and this was all for the prince's protection, although it is sad that one of Cedric's men managed to run away with the journal. At this point, Sir Aaron also refers to Vea not as his squire, but as his partner. Sebastian comes in at this point, having heard the entire thing, and thanks them, letting them leave. Both Vea and Sir Aaron leave quickly, because it's only a matter of time before Cedric wakes up and tells his captors that Vea actually has the journal. But before they leave, she hands the small elven boy that helped her a gold pendant from the Seneschal, who had threatened his family early in the series, telling him to sell it for money in Kirkwall. On the way out, they're approached by Varric in Charter. Vea tells him that the journal reads that a Magister in Deventer might have a piece of red lyrium, and that she is willing to go into Deventer to help the Inquisition, with Varric asking if this was Sir Aaron's influence. Sir Aaron tells Vea that if she is going, so is he, and so she takes a skin of alcohol. I don't think I mentioned it here, but it's brought up that Sir Aaron is actually quite the drunk, and she tosses it away and says that they are ready to go. And it ends with the group heading to Deventer. Talking points. The Meredith Statue. So when Vea goes into the gallows, we are able to see the red lyrium corpse of Meredith, except that it shouldn't be there. We can actually see the corpse on the Crace Templar and Inquisition held on display in the Black Emporium, where it should actually be. Fans asked about this, and it was later revealed that this was just an editing error. Not sure if they're ever, going to go back and address this. Perhaps they will say that the statue in the gallows is a replica, or what, I don't know, but that's that. Vea's goat eyes. This one confuses me the most, and a lot of fans have been asking about this. The artist of this comic draws Vea with square pupils. I'm not even sure why, and it happens throughout the series. When asked about it, devs mentioned that this is just the artist's choice and it has no meaning in world. Honestly, at this point, I would just like to ask the artist, as I'm just more confused than anything. Other elves in the series don't seem to have this feature, so why is it just her? Dragon Age 4 impacts. I know I've said this somewhere before, but I think this miniseries as well as Mage Killer are setting up our future companions for Dragon Age 4. At a guess right now, it looks like we have Tessa and Vea as rogues, and Marius and Sir Aaron as warriors. But where's my mages going to double-cross me, BioWare? Where's that comic? Huh? Anyway, the last issue sets up what I think might be the biggest hint we have gotten towards DA4. There is a Magister associated with the Venatori, and he is looking for research on red lyrium and seems to have a piece of it. Although this might just end up being a minor quest in the grand scheme of the game, but it is good to keep in mind. For all that we know, this Magister might represent the opponents that Dorian and Maevaris have been battling, and now that we know they have red lyrium, our favorite Magister duo might need some help fixing the Magisterium. And that, dear patrons, is all that we know on Knight Errant. There are a few tiny details I didn't go over, mostly because it probably doesn't affect the story going forward, and I encourage you to check this out. While Mage Killer didn't get a lot of good reviews because it didn't really have a story behind it, Knight Errant did. I actually ended up liking Sir Aaron more than Vea. Not that she's bad, I just think my husband's love for sad old men trying their best in the world has kind of rubbed off on me. So I'm excited to see where we get to see these characters go on from here. In other news, and I mentioned this on my Twitter in more detail on why, next week's lore video is going to be postponed. Next Thursday, I'll be uploading my 40-minute reading of Heart in Hightown, and then the week after that, double lore video! Anyway, do still lingering questions, proof that I'm wrong? Comments about your own fan theory. Feel free to tweet me at @GuildOrThon on Twitter or send a PM to user Guild, not on Reddit. The rest are all.